2 weeks in a row, late race caution brings out NASCAR overtime, and the driver that was going to drive out to the sunset ends up getting crushed in defeat. Race number 4 in the books at Phoenix, in what was a Phoenix race. Not much happened, even with the new downforce or low downforce package, I should say. Didn't really spice up Phoenix, which is more of a track issue, not much of a package issue. It was interesting seeing bits and pieces of it when you see drivers actually working at the wheel. Yes, the gap was a lot more between drivers in certain parts, but it's still very tough to pass. But Phoenix has always been a meh racetrack. I'm more interested in seeing when it goes to tracks like Martinsville to Richmond to really see if this track or this package can really work, since Phoenix has always been a mid track. But once again, no surprise to see that Hendrick Motorsports came to play, but it was kind of like a situation that what we saw last weekend in Las Vegas. You had one or two drivers, like a Christopher Bell, maybe, or Bubba Wallace or Daniel Suarez, going up against everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. This was kind of the same thing, except there was really only one guy that could stop Hendrick Motorsports, and that was Kevin Harvick, the king of Rattlesnake Hill. 9 wins, was looking for 10. Because the two drivers that seemed to dominate this race was Byron and Larson. I'm pretty sure Larson and Byron led for all but 40 laps. Larson led for over 200 laps. He won stage 2. Byron won stage 1, wire to wire. Nothing really much happened between the leaders. But in the meantime, while that was happening, while Larson and Byron were winning or were leading races or leading laps and winning the stages, Harvick was inching closer and closer and closer. He had the long run speed, and he got it late in the race where he went down low underneath Kyle Larson to take the lead. It seemed as though that Harvick was on his way to victory until a caution came out with 10 laps to go. Harrison Burton cut a right front tire, I believe, and spun by himself. Reasonable caution. I know there's some people that are going to say that caution was unnecessary. It was a reasonable caution. That sets up another restart. But on pit road, in the final pit road for the crew, for the teams, Harvick and his team went with 4 tires. Everybody else went for 2 tires. He came out 7th. Larson and Byron came out 1st and 2nd. I understand why they did this. I mean, with this new aero package, tire fall off was tremendous, or at least more than in previous years at Phoenix. So I understand going with the route of going for 4 tires, but still, I mean, Harvick didn't gain much in those final few laps from it. I think it's going to be something that his crew is going to be looking back on, is should they have gone with 2 tires instead of just 4? Since Larson and Byron, they went with 2 tires, and they were actually able to hold off Tyler Reddick, a guy that took 4 tires as well. Still didn't win the race, but at least they were able to hold the 4 tires back of Harvick and Reddick for at least a little bit. But yeah, coming to the final lap, coming to the finish, you had a great through-eye battle with Byron, Larson, and Blaney on the inside trying to steal it. Reddick gives Byron a push, pushes him out to the lead, and basically pushed him to victory. Byron goes back-to-back for the first time in his career and gets his 6th career Cup Series victory since joining Hendrick Motorsports in 2018, and becomes the season's first multiple-time winner. Here's a look at the race results. Byron wins, Blaney in 2nd, Reddick, great finish for him in 3rd place after a huge struggle to start the series, or to start the season, I should say. Larson and Harvick able to gain just 2 spots. That's now 10 years in a row. 10 years in a row, Kevin Harvick has finished inside the top 10 at Phoenix. Absolutely domination. Bell in 6th, Briscoe, last year's winner, in 7th. Kyle Busch, after rebounding from a speeding penalty, comes home in 8th. Alex Bowman, a quiet 9th place finish for him. And how about Josh Berry, just his 2nd start for Hendrick Motorsports, comes home in a very impressive top 10. Joey Logano, finished 11th, but Ford as a whole really struggled, didn't show that much speed outside of Harvick. Yes, Blaney finished 2nd, but Harvick was really the only guy that showed really good speed to be some of a contender. Ryan Preece, a nice run for him in 12th. Michael McDowell, Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, the top 15. Then you got Austin Dillon, Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and AJ Allmendinger. Allmendinger was caught up in a crash right before the overtime finish between him and Ty Gibbs. Then you got Eric Jones. Daniel Suarez had a speeding penalty. Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain, they were up inside the top 10 on that final restart. However, Hamlin and Chastain both got together, went up into the wall, I believe, and they ended up finishing 23rd and 24th. Some other notables like Ty Gibbs and Noah Gragson, rookies, 20th and 29th. Then you got Zane Smith and Todd Gilliland. Zane Smith took Todd's ride and they ended up finishing nose to tail. Eric Almirola had a tire go down. I think twice he had a tire go down, then had a two-lap penalty after a loose wheel. A lot of confusion and just a horrible day for that 10 team. And then Harrison Burton, who brought out that final caution, comes home in 35th. Yeah, overall from the race, again, not much. I wasn't expecting much from it. It's Phoenix. I mean, the race I thought was respectable for Phoenix standards. I thought it was okay. You know, it wasn't anything special. I thought it was okay for Phoenix standards. Again, I'm more interested in when we go to tracks like Martinsville, like Richmond. Those tracks I think would really tell us if this package is good or not. Phoenix has always been a meh track, no matter what package you really put on it. But yeah, again, for Phoenix standards, I don't think, it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I thought it was just okay. It was all right. It was good for Phoenix standards. Let's just say that. But for Byron, him and Rudy Fugle, I've said this before. I think with those two, it's a great pairing. Last year, they showed some speed early on, but they fell off after Atlanta or after Martinsville. They just fell off. If they can be able to, pull a season together, be consistent with it, this 24 team with this playoff format, this 24 team can be, they can be special. They can be someone to watch out for. Maybe I would even go as far as to say championship potential. If they can just put a season together, that would be the question. I didn't see the broadcast. I didn't listen to the broadcast, so I don't know how it went. I did see that Fox had like a new lap tracker, which I thought was really nice. They think they should keep that. I don't know how the booth was because I didn't listen to it. I did hear a little snippet from Mike Joy clapping back at the people that were complaining about the commercials, which was a bit childish in my opinion, since it is a justifiable criticism. I understand some people are taking it way too far, but it is a justified criticism that does need to be changed. Again, I know Fox really can't do anything about it, but it's still something that needs to be addressed for the next TV package if NASCAR wants to keep up with the times, with the changing times of TV. So I thought it was a bit childish, understandable, but a bit childish to really acknowledge it and go after him like almost every week, since I think this is the second or third week in a row Mike Joy has outright called out the people complaining about commercials. So a bit childish, but yeah, that's really all I got to say about the booth since I didn't listen to it. So I don't know how it went, but again, for racing standards at Phoenix, nothing all that special. Byron and those guys, those Chevrolet drivers, man, at Hendrick Motorsports, even though they got the Louvre penalty, got that coming this weekend, but man, those drivers are something. Even Josh Berry, just a second start, pulled up a top 10 finish. A great run for him. Bowman, a quiet top 10 for him, but Byron and Larson, 2 weeks in a row, those two cars were just unstoppable. Atlanta, outlier, but we look at the week after, I think it's Coda. We look at those trucks. We look at Richmond. We're going to look at the future amount of halves like Kansas. Let's see how they do over there. If that's the case, we could just see Hendrick Motorsports take over the season. I know we're only 4 races in, but so far, all I've seen is Hendrick Motorsports be unstoppable. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens next weekend at Coda. My thoughts on this race, I mean, overall, I think I give this like a 6, 7 out of 10. Again, I thought it was really good for Phoenix standards. I thought it was good for Phoenix standards, but nothing really much else to go off of. But man, I feel for Harvick. For him to join, I think only 5 drivers, Petty, Pearson, Earnhardt, Johnson, I think someone else, as the only driver to win 10 times at a single racetrack. Would have wished he could get that done in his final season. He can get it done in November, but it would have been cool to see him go to victory lane there. But hey, stuff happens in racing. That caution was justified. I don't want anyone complaining about the comments about that final caution. It's justified. NASCAR had to throw it. Completely understandable. But man, that 24 car they have a potential to be deadly this year. But that's enough for me. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all had a great time watching the race. I enjoyed it from what I saw. Again, I didn't watch the full broadcast, but from what I saw, I thought it was really, really good for Phoenix standards. But I cannot wait for next weekend at Atlanta, not Coda, at Atlanta. I'm excited for Atlanta. Definitely excited for Coda. So I can't wait for those 2 tracks. But thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, my name is Jett from MDK. Thanks for watching.